Param Shanti, everyone. I welcome you with deep love and reverence to this insightful question and answer session based on Chapter 11 of the great book Life in the Multiverse by Bapuji Darshan Bhai Patel. Today's session is not an explanation of the entire chapter. It is only a brief insight, a starting point for inner exploration. To experience the full depth of the divine wisdom, I encourage you all to read the book yourselves. We have a little disclaimer. The discussions in this video are intended to offer a brief overview of the book Life in the Multiverse by Bapuji Darshanbhai Patel. They are not a substitute for the complete knowledge and depth presented in the original text. For a comprehensive understanding, viewers are encouraged to read the full book, available for free at www.paramshanti.org, and listen to the complete audio versions in Hindi and English on the official YouTube channel of Bapuji Darshanbhai Patel. Let's begin this journey inward and outward, from the soul to the stars. Thank you for supporting the spread of knowledge and Bapuji's main book, The Life in the Multiverse again. Kamaljeet, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Vani. Thank you for having me again. It's amazing that you have taken so much of effort to share this information with rest of the world. It is very precious and dear to my heart.
Thank you. So today we'll be going over chapter 11. So what is the main message that Bapuji is discussing in chapter 11 of the book?
Yes, first of all, this book is the divine insight. It's been revealed by Bapuji through his meditative state. One can't, because he's living that state, one has to understand it is not just sitting cross-legged and he's seeing some visions. He's awake for us, but he is present while he has, taught this book. And that is how it was written. And this basic idea, the central idea of chapter 11 is that our existence is not limited to Earth or the visible universe as we see. Universe is also known as the Param Mahabrahmand. Like Brahmand is the solar system. Mahabrahmand, as we reviewed last time, Mahabrahmand is a galaxy, and Param Mahabrahmand, that is the collection of many Mahabrahmands, is the universe. So we are a part of a vast multidimensional multiverse that is governed by frequency, energy, and light. Multiverse will have multiple universes. We will talk about that in the following chapters as well. Every soul basically is a traveler moving through dimensions, moving across times, and forms are based on their spiritual frequency and karmic account. This is the main thing that Bapuji is trying to tell us all about, the truth of this creation itself, that we are moving around, we are souls, but everything depends. Every action that is happening with us or everything that we are doing, it depends on our spiritual frequency and our karmic account. So Bapuji is emphasizing that there is a divine structure beyond our comprehension. It's something that is not visible to us, but when we go inwards, that is why we say that, you in a meditative state, people go inside. And it is not only Bapuji, there are many ascended masters who have said the same thing about meditation. But the key difference is that Bapuji has described all this time, space, and dimension in extensive, huge detail. It's a very expansive detail which has not been comprehended by any ascended master that I know of. The way he has described it is amazing, and he has gone to the minutest detail of measurements, talking about the life there, talking about the quality of the elements, the bodies or the souls they will inhabit. Why are they having those kind of bodies? Why do they show those elements in their system? Everything, every percentage has been marked out. So this is very important about Bapuji's, and that is the purpose of this book, Life in Multiverse. It's more like a sacred book, like we read the Bhagavad Gita, and people, Christians will read the Bible, things like that. So this Life in Multiverse is for those who are interested in going into depth of infinite knowledge, that is Behad Gyan, and this is the knowledge of the infinite. So Bapuji has emphasized that there is a divine structure beyond our comprehension. This is what it means. Infinite galaxies, countless universes, countless higher realms of light beyond multiverses and multiverses. But what connects them all is consciousness. And when our consciousness expands, our perception of reality will always change, as you grow in your understanding, and you grow in your practice to go within, you will sense the multiple dimensions, and so your journey will also become more like an inner expansive state, something that is not visible, it's not tangible, but you know it to be true.
Mhm. So, how many universes and dimensions actually exist according to Bapuji?
There are, like I said, there are many universes and many dimensions, something which again cannot be comprehended. And each universe will contains many galaxies that are many Mahabrahmans, which themselves will have many Brahmans within themselves. Each realm will operate on a different frequency, because like we said that it depends on the frequency, spiritual, the frequency of that soul, how it travels and how it will grow. And that is how the Brahmans and were created. They were created from a state of consciousness, depending on the frequency and the power it had, right? So each realm operates on a different frequency band. Low frequencies will manifest as physical matter. Higher frequencies will be, seen as light and divine consciousness. There are gross, subtle, and causal dimensions, and beyond all these, there are spiritual realms like the Paramdham. Paramdham is the abode of the creator of that realm. The multicolored creation is not a science fiction. This is one has to understand. It is now, of course, with as in now we are seeing that science and spirituality are kind of coming together to a certain extent. A lot of research is showing a lot of things that are not really visible, but they are able to sense. Science is able to sense. There is something beyond their comprehension at the moment, but they are tending to believe it. So the multi-layered universe and multi-layered multiverses, Brahmans, these are not just a concept. It is a spiritual truth. It reveals infinite nature of the creator and the limitless potential of every soul, because every soul has been created from the creator itself. And the power of the creator, the soul will reflect the frequency of the creator to a certain extent. If it is very powerful, it might even reflect the same frequency. That is why when we are going into our meditative state and we are disconnecting, that is the time you are gaining more power, and that is the way you are able to increase your frequency.
Okay. That's beautiful. Then my next question is, so as human beings, what role do we play in the multiverse?
Yeah, each soul has, is a divine spark of infinite light. It's originally, it is very pure, powerful, and peaceful. peaceful. That is why Bapuji says, talks about supreme peace. Param Shanti is this true nature of the soul. And when you invoke that nature again and again by repeating the phrase, you invoke your true self. And but over time, what has happened due to after being created and manifested in various life forms and due to karmic cycles, because when you were born, when you came into a life form such as human life, you do some action, then there is a reaction to it. So that creates a karmic cycle, and it will create material attachments also. So we forget our original true state. So Bapuji shares that human souls are not ordinary. They are not ordinary at all. He says, we are beings of light and power, capable of ascending through universes, transcending time and space. But we have become trapped in this earthly illusion, believing that we are body, the mind, or the ego. But when we begin to practice, going deep into meditation, understanding Behad Gyan, reading what Bapuji is talking about, listening to his videos, actually what I will like to add here is that there are videos which we see and then we move on to another one. And when we go back to the previous video, we will learn something new. Every time you watch, this is something very interesting, and this has been stated by many disciples and many people who are following Behad Gyan, that every time they watch Bapuji's video, even if they are watched it 100 times, they will get a new information, new insight from that video. And it is my personal experience.
Interesting.
So you kind of become more, your understanding becomes more deeper and more profound every time you watch. So reading and, maybe watching videos is very, very helpful. Life in Multiverse is a beautiful book, along with many other books that he has written on life and death. So that is something that is going to be very, very helpful. And, he says that because when we are practicing Atmaswarup, this is what I said, when we are going deeper into meditation, the Atmaswarup Bhavana, the soul consciousness, and connect with one source, the ultimate supreme truth, or the ultimate supreme light, we start to regain that identity of what we are, of our own self, and we realize our power, true power, that we realize when we are in that state of being Atmaswarup and soul consciousness.
Okay, so then my next question would be can souls actually travel across galaxies or universes?
Yes, they do. They can and they do. It depends on the frequency and the power of the soul. That is one thing. But it is not the way that we travel in a spacecraft. They can travel with thought. And of course, there are frequency who have achieved deep spiritual purification and carry 16 kala, or the celestial degree of power, can move freely across galaxies and dimensions. These souls are not bound by physical laws, like physical laws of the earth or of this planet, right? Their light bodies or the Akari form can pass through dimensions with thought, intention, and divine will. Bapuji has mentioned many times that such highly evolved souls can, can move at their will. Anytime they have an intention to, for whatever cause, even if they just want to move around, they can just do so with simple divine will. Some of these souls come from higher universes to assist, they come to planet Earth to assist the intention of the Earth, what is to help the people on Earth to evolve into higher dimensions, and that is what is happening right now. We are seeing many people who are getting into spiritual practice all over the planet. In every culture you have this, it's a kind of thing, what they say, a video has gone viral. I think spirituality is getting more and more viral that way, in a positive limelight. People are talking about, they want to know the depth of their own self. They want to know about their own creator and what can make earth a better place to live. How to bring harmony and peace in the community, how to help natural life, how to help everyone survive with peace and joy. So this is a thought that is traveling in the atmosphere of this planet right now. And all these souls from higher dimensions who are here on earth, maybe they have taken human form and they are performing their duties in their human forms, or they are doing so in their subtle bodies, by transmitting thoughts. Subtly, when sometimes people have a divine thought or some intention, they will have, oh, I really need to do it. It could have been generated by a soul of a higher dimension that
Yeah.
is connected to that soul in the human body. So this gives us some hope that we too can rise, and once we, kind of in a way detach from Maya, that is illusion, dissolve karma, and can reconnect with our own light, reconnect with our own inner truth, because our own inner truth itself is light.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, and with this power, the immense power which we will, which we will regain. It is not that we are gaining any more power, but we are regaining.
Mm-hmm.
We have lost because we have forgotten. The moment we start recollecting who we are, we are
Yeah.
regaining that power.
So, what happens to a soul after its death in the multi-universe system?
Yes, so death is not really the end of everything. Death is like, you went out, you wore fresh clothes, and you came back home, and you are again back into your old night dress or something like that, and you are changing your clothes, something like that. So, death is merely a transition. After leaving the physical body, the soul moves into the subtle body, that is called the Suksham Sharir, and it enters the frequency that is based on that realm of that Suksham, the subtle realm. So souls can go to Pitralok, astral worlds, or even other planets or galaxies depending on their frequency, their sanskaras, the sanskaras that are their impressions, their karma, and their spiritual light. Most importantly, their frequency, their spiritual frequency will determine how far they can go. If the soul is burdened, with the desires and attachments, and we discussed this in the last one also, we will keep
Yeah.
on repeating it because this is something very important. We need to understand that
Mm-hmm.
we need to detach ourselves from our physical actions, what we are doing, people with whom we are connected.
Mm-hmm.
Every soul is here. It is a part of a puzzle to help us build ourselves, and we all do our work and we move into higher dimensions. But we should not stay connected, like, um, uh, when you stay connected, you become a part of a matrix, or you are connected to a network. It will not let you ascend. You will always be pulled back into that net because of that connection. So the soul with this ignorance will reincarnate again because it is attached. It feels that it didn't complete some work. It feels that it needs to fulfill whatever it has left. It is connected to its friends, relatives, children, parents, whatever it is, or its money, the money amount it built up. So, but what happens if the soul is already awakened and it knows the truth? It is in a state of pure consciousness. It will ascend into higher worlds, and only those who have cut these, but their karmic bonds, And in spiritual terms, people who work with healing and auras, all that, they say that you also cut your cords. Cords are the subtle cords that connect you with people and objects of this physical world, or beings of the physical world. So you make cords. So immediately you need to cut, mentally you need to cut all these cords. And then you remember your own true origin, and you can return to the Paramdham, or Behad ka Paramdham, that the abode, the infinite realm of you can say the infinite realm of all creation, the infinite supreme abode.
Okay. Yeah, once you've like let go of all the desires and wants and needs and everything.
Yeah.
Are there other civilizations or life forms beyond Earth?
Absolutely. Bapuji has confirmed that there are advanced civilizations in higher dimensions existing in light bodies. They have built telepathic communication. Their language is something which is all telepathic. And they have divine technology that is far beyond our imagination. These beings are a part of a cosmic hierarchy, and they have come to Earth as well in the past and even now. And earlier they have come as gods, rishis, avatars, or some supreme beings of light. They are known as, some of them came into the bodies of saints and sages. And almost this is common across all cultures. They have stories that narrate that gods have come to planet Earth. In every culture, any side of the Earth, planet, you will find people and cultures, they are talking about it, that gods had come to Earth. So I believe as more and more truth is being uncovered by through archaeology and research, this seems to be more and more correct.
Yeah.
So we are actually not alone. Earth is one of the lower vibrational realms, and it is still evolving. But with time and awakening, we too can join the cosmic family of enlightened beings, of powerful supreme beings that can travel across, learn, and help other planets.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And a lot of civilizations and a lot of ancient texts, they all say either the gods came from the water or they came from the sky, and it's just these like very learned people who knew. They taught them how to do agriculture or build things and build boats and all of that, and they all are like referred to as gods. So yeah, that's really cool. But we don't know who these people are. So as and when more information comes to light, but they're gods. So
Yeah,
that's
true,
interesting.
absolutely.
How does karma affect our journey through the multiverse?
Yeah, how to explain this? So karma acts like a gravity in a way. It binds us to our experiences, lifetimes, and dimensions. Every thought, word, and action leaves an imprint on the soul's frequency. It's amazing, isn't it? It is interesting that even in our DNA, they are also trying to somehow, in certain researchers, they have found that there are certain things in the DNA which don't really tie the person with this planet. There are some things some interesting findings have been made, and that is how they are also able to trace out the heritage of a person through DNA. Good karma will raise us towards subtle and divine realms. Negative karma will pull us into denser, painful realities. How to identify good and bad karma, negative karma. Good karma is, as the word will suggest, it is good action, positive, doing positive work, supporting people, being kind, being generous, taking the right step. And a negative karma could and all this can also be through intentions, And negative karma also through intention and action that can be hurtful. It could be dark energies, and this will pull us into denser and painful realities. So to move beyond the cycle of birth and death, we must purify our karma through our spiritual knowledge, regular meditation, and detachment. Detachment is a must. And so detachment also means that when we are performing an action or performing our karma or performing our duty, or we are responding, the moment we respond to something, we have created a karma. So when we are doing even good, or even to do something that is negative, to take revenge, all these are action and reactions. So we have to be in a position where whatever we have done, we are not attached to it. If you're doing good, you don't expect that somebody will give you something in return. Of course, if you are doing your work, because that is the law of this physical world, you are doing work and you are being paid for it. Definitely, because you have done it and that was a contract, you were to be paid for it, and so you are paid. So that is not that is not the same as saying that I did something good for you and you repay me for my good deeds. I've done this thing for you. I've done this thing done this service to you, and expect even kindness in return is also creating a karma. So you are to do some action. If you're serving, then do not expect, really, in your mind and your heart, if in your heart you still harbor some kind of emotion that says that, okay, I did this thing and this person treated me like that, that itself creates a space of karma there.
Yeah.
So it's important to remain in soul consciousness, in Atma Swarup. Bapuji has emphasized this again and again, that we must chant Param Shanti or Supreme Peace. There is a longer version also which Brahma Ma has given, but even chanting Param Shanti or Supreme Peace will help you align with infinite light, and it will neutralize your karmic baggage, and it will open a path to liberation. But it is an action that you must do consciously, and work on yourself. Each day try to be a better human being, try to detach yourself.
So my next question would be is, what is the Akari form and how is it connected to the soul evolution?
Yeah, so the Akari form is, we discussed earlier as well, is the subtle light body. And it is not physical to the naked eye, to the physical eye, but very real in the spiritual dimension. It is made up of supreme elements, finer than physical matter, yet capable of immense power and movement. Souls in the Nirakari formless state take Akari form to interact, travel, and create. There is the first stage of descent from the supreme state towards creation. So when the thought, when it was soul was pure consciousness, or the creator decided to create, it split, right? And it created more from it. So then it comes into the Nirakari, or the formless consciousness comes into the Akari form. So in our evolution, we must rise from the gross body, that is a physical sthul sharir body, to the suksham or the subtle, and then to Akari and Nirakari states. This is only possible through deep meditation and the knowledge of Behad Gyan. That is where our connection. Behad Gyan is all about our connection to the cosmic creation, and the depth of it. It is not a mystical or a magical creation, but it is a living creation that is happening, and it's constantly happening. And like, if we right now we are talking about the creation and what's happening with the universe, that is the Param Maha Brahman. So the owner of this universe, of a universe, is always Param Mahashiv. And so Param Mahashiv does all this work. When Param Mahashiv decided to create, Param Mahashiv was in his, in his incorporeal form, you can say. He made the first affirmation to multiply his creation, right? And from one to many. And in this happened in his supreme divine state. And with this supreme divine state, with a very high quality of celestial power of about 16 to 20 kala, he has decided to multiply and to create more. So just like what is his incorporeal state? It is like it can be seen as a bright light that radiates from the sun, and this in this particular form, he is known as the Nirakari Param Mahashiv. And it is also known, and this power that is radiating out is also called as might. So the light at the core is surrounded by a shining, like we see the rays of the sun. This is the might, and it is made of supreme elements, and it radiates in all the four directions. And with this, it creates from within. This is how it is. How to explain it? First, he will create two souls, one from within itself. He will create the Shakti from, Param Mahashakti from within. And so now these are two powerful incorporeal souls. Then there are six, then they create 6 souls on the right and the 6 souls on the left. So altogether 12 souls are created, right? And then they further keep on creating. So you can imagine when these souls are being creating, they are multiplying further, their power at one point will decrease. And and that is the time they start manifesting elements, the gross elements, when their power declines to a certain degree. So this is how this is what you can say. It is in a way, Akari form is connected to, it's creating a form of evolution in its own way, because when these souls are born, they are in the physical form, then they forget, and then they go back, then they need to remember to go for the return journey home.
That's right. Okay. How can one begin their personal journey and to explore these truths?
Yeah, the first step is self-inquiry. You need to, like I said, we need to go back to our original home. When the souls are multiplied, they come into the physical elemental form, the body of 5 elements. They're forgotten. They are given birth into this physical body. And if they are in the human body, in animal or plant form, this is not possible.
Yeah.
So we are very lucky to have human form, where we have the capacity to think and evaluate that who am I? We think, where did I come from? What is the purpose of my life? From then, when you start realizing and you get to know about spiritual practices and studies, start somewhere. Start somewhere, whatever, like I don't know if anybody who directly got connected to Behad Gyan, but people who knew Babuji, they directly got connected. But in my personal journey, I have gone through various practices. I had for some reason or the other, I always wanted to know the spiritual truth of all things. What is happening? Why this is happening? Who is God? It was from within. And my final destination was Bapuji. I just came because you will be led from within. You will be directed. This is the beauty of practicing the work on yourself through meditation, various form of meditation. You will be led. Your soul knows the truth and it will direct you. So begin practicing Atma Swarup, and have the awareness that I'm a soul and not this body, and try to do the Param Shanti mantra as much as possible to stabilize the mind and also your environment. When you are practicing the chanting of Param Shanti, even the short or the long form, both will spread, and it will spread that supreme peace in the environment. These vibrations are very, very powerful. Why? Because this is the original state of the soul, right? So study books on maybe, or look at the videos of Bapuji, Dashrath Bhai Patel, to receive pure, unfiltered divine knowledge. And it's very important to align your intentions. Be very conscious. I have started practicing this in my life, that if I have a negative intention of whatever kind, I immediately, within a few less than second, I will delete it from. I will practically tell my mind that I delete this thought right away, because I'm aware now that, this is not the way to live your life. So you have to align your intentions, thoughts, and actions with peace, purity, and power of the truth.
Yeah.
And then the multiverse will respond to your vibrations, and this is the first step. And then you start to, then at this point, realize that you have already started your return journey to the supreme abode, wherever you have come from. And like I said, the supreme abode of the universe is of 16 kalas, or 16 degrees of celestial power. And here the souls will also have very interesting qualities. One is that they can have, they are in the nirgun state, means they are beyond qualities of nature, means good, bad, those attributes they don't have. It's neutral, it's nirgun, which is beyond the attributes of purity and power, lust, and negativity. That is sato, rajo, and tamo. Then is another form, that is the nirvikari, means that you are viceless and formless, without any karmic bondages and liabilities. Then they are perfectly endowed with the 16 kala virtues. These virtues are created in a state of perfect purity and complete acceptance and tolerance. So this universe creates another, whenever a soul is creating another soul in the incorporeal form, the supreme light that radiates out, it will also create a surrounding environment. So we have to be very conscious of what we are thinking and how we are creating, because our thoughts are creating.
Okay. And then what is Bapuji's final guidance in chapter 11?
Well, Bapuji is always reminding us, and in particularly in chapter 11 too, that we are children of the infinite, and not limited to this world, and not defined by suffering or ego. And he has said that your eternal light, your home is beyond the stars, beyond creation. Return to your supreme origin, the Param Dham, through knowledge, remembrance, and purity. His guidance is very clear, that elevate your thoughts, connect to Anant Jyoti, the ultimate truth, and be in Atma Swarup and help others to awaken too. The goal is not just salvation, it is universal transformation. He is transforming everything in the universe. He's encouraging everyone to follow this path of being in Atma Swarup and creating that light, awaken that light within yourself to create that supreme light of peace. So once those vibrations are spreading, they're transforming the current situation of the planet as well.
It's just a beautiful message for him to be championing and extending out into the world and just urging everyone to wake up. And it's a very simple message.
And the best thing is, I want to say, he has also given the basis right from our, the Vedas and Shastras, the
Yeah.
ancient scriptures, which are documented, and these are this information has been brought by the sages and saints and sages, and evidence is being, archaeologically being findings are there now to prove all this. As well, even the Bhagavad Gita, it was there.
Yeah.
These things have happened, and the guidance he has, his belief, and he has given all the bases, and he has referred to all these in his discourses as well, that go and read this, it is mentioned there, go and read this, it is mentioned there. I'm not saying out of my mind, even though he's saying everything, but he still gives you the background.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in conclusion, thank you for joining today's question and answers on Chapter 11 for Our Life in the Multiverse. I hope it gave you all not just answers, but a spark into inner awakening. Remember, this was just a glimpse. The full knowledge is waiting for you in Babaji's writings and videos. Visit paramshanti.org and subscribe to his official YouTube channel to continue your journey. Next time, we will explore Chapter 12, a breathtaking journey into the great universes, Param Mahabrahmans, and their origins. Until then, remain in soul consciousness, radiate peace, and remember, Behet ki Param Shanti hai. Param Shanti. Thank you, Kamaljeet.
Thank you, Vani.